So in this video, I want to talk about the madness of stamp duty and council tax, the proposed solution of a land value tax that could replace it, and the realistic pros and cons of it, as well as my personal ideas, because I do think there are some really core issues with it, and I'd love Dan Needle to pop on this channel and clarify and talk about it, because for those of you that don't know me, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, given I'm the founder of British Homebuyers and British Homesellers, a home buying company and a nationwide estate agency. And since founding those businesses over 13, 14 years ago now, my team have dealt with tens of thousands of transactions. Annually, we deal with thousands of transactions, but importantly, it's spread across the UK. So I do get a bit of a blanket overview of the whole country. So I do get a good feel for how dramatically the property market conditions can differ area by area, property type by property type. So let me start by explaining stamp duty and how it's a problem, because it gums up the property market, it damages labour mobility, and it destroys economic wealth. Because generally, if you tax something, you encourage less of it. So if you're taxing to move house, less people would move house. And just think for a moment how damaging that is to the labour markets, to raising a family. Just to drill in how silly this is, it is the equivalent to applying a tax to move job or applying a tax to have children. So imagine next time you move job, you're forced to pay 5-10% of your annual salary just for the right to sign a new employment contract. How mad would that be? Or imagine if the birth of your second or third child triggered a mandatory £10,000 tax from the government. It just wouldn't happen. So stamp duty is doing the same thing. It's discouraging something that is actually good for the economy. We want people to move because a lot of the time it promotes their social and economic output. People move for reasons. Research estimates that this tax alone destroys an estimated 75p of wealth for every pound raised. Now, council tax is a problem because it's based on a property valuations from April 1991. So in reality, it is completely out of sync to house prices now. And of course, the banding system, band A, B, C, D, and so on, are fixed ratios to one another. So every band relates to band D, the midpoint. So as you can see, the most valuable properties will only pay 3 times the council tax of the least valuable homes. So you could have a flat paying £1,200 a year, for instance, whilst at the same time you could have a 10-bed mansion paying £3,600 a year. This creates a highly unfair system that essentially functions as a supercar discount for the wealthy, because land prices have skyrocketed over the last few decades, fueled by a massive influx of mortgage credit into high value areas. Band H mansion today can easily be worth 50 to 100 times more than a band A flat, yet by law, the billionaire owner is only charged 3 times as much. Ultimately, because the tax is disconnected from modern property wealth. Local councils cannot collect fair, proportional revenues from the most valuable properties. To make up this shortfall, they're forced to continually raise the baseline rates on ordinary households. So the result is an economically broken system where lower income families pay a vastly higher percentage of their true property value and their income just to keep local public services afloat. And again, an analogy to explain how silly this is to imagine the same logic applied to water companies. Imagine if water companies were capped at charging a band H property at 3 times a band A property, like you get with council tax. A band H mansion might have a swimming pool, 5 bathrooms, an acre of gardens, using 50 times more water than a small flat, but only paying 3 times the amount. So what ends up happening is the flat residents end up heavily subsidising them. Clearly, that's not fair. So hopefully it's clear to all of us how silly these taxes are. These taxes would never be created today because of how logical they are. So what is the proposed solution? What is the solution if we were designing this all from scratch? Broadly speaking, most economic think tanks agree that the ultimate solution is a land value tax. So a land value tax taxes the undeveloped land value, doesn't tax whatever is on it. So in short, it taxes the location, not the building. Tax Policy Associates has created a calculator modelling this out. This is a non-for-profit company founded by Dan Needle, which you might have heard about recently. And what they propose is to replace council tax and stamp duty. And instead, we pay a single flat rate of 1.28% on the land value annually. And this map shows how different areas will pay less and more. So it's quite clear how London and the surrounding areas will pay much more. Or instead, rather than replacing council tax, we instead just replace stamp duty and we pay 0.26% of the land value annually. And of course, this is an upside for people buying, but not for those that own. Now, he does talk about phasing it in. So if you pay stamp duty in the past, you get a credit and so on. But what's fascinating about this idea in principle is that it unites people that don't usually agree on these sorts of things. So major figures on both sides of the political spectrum do support it. So on the free market right, the legendary Nobel Prize winning economist Milton Friedman famously called the tax on the unimproved value of land the least bad tax of all. Andy Burnham has strongly backed a land value tax in the past, calling it a form of aspirational socialism in an article he wrote. So when you've got right-wing neoliberals and left-wing socialists both looking at the policy and saying, yes, this is something that could really work, you know you're onto something that actually could work. But why do economists love this so much? It comes down to one brilliant, simple concept. It changes the incentives for land use. Because right now, if you own an ugly, empty, derelict plot of land in the middle of a booming town centre, the current system rewards you. Your council tax is minimal, and you can just sit on it for 10 years, waiting for the area to improve so that you can sell it at a massive profit. We call this land hoarding. Even worse, under our current rules, if you actually decide to build something great on that land, like an apartment block or a row of shops or houses, the government rewards you by hiking up your tax bill. So you're literally penalised building things. A land value tax completely flips this. A land value tax ignores whatever building is on the property and only taxes the raw value of the location itself. If you own a vacant plot of land, you pay the exact same tax as if there was a 10-story building on it. So suddenly holding onto empty land or a derelict site becomes incredibly expensive and uneconomic. You are basically heavily incentivized to get the tools in the ground and develop it as quickly as possible or sell the land. But crucially, because it's not a tax on what you develop, the government isn't punishing you for investing your own capital into the bricks and mortar. You decide to build more, you create housing, you stimulate the local economy, and your tax bill doesn't move. It shifts the tax away from hard work and improvement and places it squarely on speculating, just holding on to land. It sounds like a great idea, but as with any major economic shake-up, it's not that simple. So let's talk about what I think the real world pros and cons of a land value tax are, because I do think sound theory doesn't always play out in reality, especially in this case where you have the legacy issues of inflated house prices driven by massive credit expansion, all of which has increased not just house prices, but land value prices. We also have this really silly issue where the government basically used booming house prices to continuously increase stamp duty income. So when Tony Blair came into office, Gordon Brown kept increasing the tax rates. So while average house prices more than doubled over their decade in power, the total stamp duty revenue taken by the government ballooned by over 4 times. So now every solution has to pragmatically cover the inflated stamp duty tax government has become reliant on. Basically, the whole solution is any solution is starting from a really tough starting position. This may be a silly example, but it reminds me when they introduced the plastic bag charge, the whole bag for life thing. The government thought they had completely solved the problem by making single-use bags drop by 98%, by making us all pay 5 to 10p for them. But of course, human behaviour finds a way. Instead, shoppers just started buying 1.5 billion bags for life a year, treating a heavy, thicker plastic bag like a single-use one. Those bags for life use about 10 times more plastic. A policy meant to save the planet resulted in the UK pumping more heavy plastic waste into circulation than before. And this is the exact trap we face with property tax reform. On paper, it's a perfect theory. In reality, the law of unintended consequences is waiting around the corner. So how do we fix it without causing chaos? Well, here are my ideas. I think the reality is everyone is fed up of paying more tax, and stamp duty only affects people that buy homes, which tends to track at around 1.1 million transactions a year, paying £16.5 billion in stamp duty a year. So 1.1 million homes of 30 million homes across the country. So the basic reality is we're asking 100% of households to cover a tax that 3.7% of households pay a year. And at the moment, the average stamp duty bill comes to £15,000 per transaction, or we could ask every household to pay £570 per year to cover the bill. I just don't think this is going to be practically popular when you consider, on average, a house price in Britain changes hands once every 27 years. I believe there are only two practical ways to model this. Either stamp duty is spread over years after purchase, so rather than needing that £15,000 up front, you can spread it over 5 or 10 years of ownership. Government still gets their revenue. It would probably need some sort of interest rate attached, but it keeps the tax on those that move, rather than the unpopular policy of making everyone share the burden. Or at the point of sale, the property switches to an annual land value tax. So of course that would apply to new builds, basically any transaction. As time goes on, more and more property stock slots into the new land value tax system. This could include the updated council tax system, for instance. So perhaps you'd have a 10 or 20 year grandfathering phase. So let's say over years 10 to 20, you'd phase and transition the whole property market to this. All property stock that hasn't sold begins transitioning to this annual land value tax. Or maybe you go, well, even over year 20 to 30 years you do that. But the reality is it has to be a slow transition, and we have to be careful not to create massive disruption to an already fragile property market and economy. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Dan Needle, would you like to come on this channel and discuss all this? Is this something you would like to even hear more about and watch? Share what you think. Bye.